Hi, everyone. Phil Dunshee, Land Research Project Manager. I want to take this time to share with you a few thoughts about how searches are conducted and some tips that will perhaps help make your searches more successful. Um, when you are looking to the Land Research search application, we provide you with several different options. We allow you to search by names, which should include a person's name or an organization's name. If you are familiar with the county and how they reference documents in their index, you can search specifically by a book and page or a reference number. If you're familiar with surveying and the nomenclature of section, township, and range, or lot, block, subdivision, and city, you can search by platted land or unplatted land. You can also perform a simple document type search, such as by affidavit or deed or combinations of document types, along with the county name and date range. You can just search by a county, and perhaps you're in a situation where you just want to see all the documents that were recorded this week or last week, and run a quick search to just see what has been filed in that particular county during that particular date range. And then we also provide a more advanced search where you can use a combination of name, reference, location, county name, document type, and date range to find exactly what you're looking for. The general options that have been presented really are designed to allow you to use a simple search that will get you most directly to the records that you're looking for. But we do provide this advanced search option for folks who may have more familiarity with the Recorder's Index and can use that knowledge to enter criteria that can help them find exactly what they're looking for. The two general tips that I have for successful searches in Iowa land records is one, please understand that the search engine is built to find the exact match of what you enter as your search criteria. So if you enter a lot of search criteria with complicated combinations, that could make your search more complex and perhaps less successful than if you tried a simpler approach. So we built these simpler options so you can find what you're looking for without getting overly complicated. So it's looking for a character string of the different combinations that you have available to you. But if it doesn't match that character string, you may not find what you hope to find. A second thing that I think is important is that, the database has not changed. It still is a representation of each individual county's database. And there are differences, there are variances that have occurred over time in terms of how reference numbers are assigned or how certain documents were mapped to a certain document type. There have been changes in the service provider that has been used by the county to provide their land record management system. And all of those things contribute to nuances and differences. And so some advice I would share is gain some familiarity with the particular county that you're searching in, because it may help you choose the right criteria to help you find what you're looking for. So those are probably the two most important things that I would share with you about performing a search. A new element that we have introduced that every searcher should be aware of in the new application is that wildcards are handled differently than they are in the old legacy application. The older legacy application had some built-in wildcard elements that operated behind the scenes, and the original intent of that was to help produce more results so that a search result would be inclusive and be more likely to include the thing that you were looking for. The problem with that is that it sometimes actually oftentimes produced more results than were necessary, didn't sufficiently narrow the search results, and the search results could be confusing. Um, and there were other elements of the application that also made that difficult to navigate. We want to simplify this, and we want to put the user in control of the search. So wildcards are no longer automatically applied to anything in the application. You need to explicitly enter a wildcard if you want to use a wildcard. Now, the wildcard doesn't apply to every single type of search. It really doesn't fit into the county search or the document type search. Those are sort of fixed elements that really don't have much variation. But if we're looking for a name search, now we're talking about some things that could have some variation. And it's important to understand that how you enter the search request could affect your results. And an important phrase that I would share with you is the phrase "starts with." Okay, if you can think about what does the term that I'm searching on start with, and then the more you know, or the more you're confident that you know, use those as your beginning characters, whether it's last name or first name, or an organization name or some other data element. If you know how it begins, start with that, and then use a wildcard character at the end. So an example that I have been using recently is my own name and own records. And if I were to start a search, and I'm going to search in Polk County because that's where most of my property transactions have been over time. I'm going to search with my last name. Obviously, that really doesn't vary much. We know how it's spelled. But there have been variations in the spelling of my first name. Sometimes my legal documents will just say Phil. There are legal documents that use my full name, Philip, with one L. And then there are some places that misspelled my name and used Philip with two L's. And I have to account for all of those variations. So if I type in Philip with one L, I'm going to be in the first name field here, it's going to find every record that uses Philip with one L, but it's not going to find records with Philip with two L's, and it's not necessarily going to find anything that just starts with my short nickname, Phil, Phil, if I don't do something about that. And so if I want to be complete, I know that my first name, no matter how it's spelled, always starts Phil. All the variations begin with that. And if I enter the wildcard character, which is the asterisk character or the star character on your keyboard, or sometimes you might think of it as Shift 8, as how you enter that on your keyboard. Any way you look at it, it's only going to end up being that asterisk. And if I use it at the end, after I've known what it starts with, I'm going to have a successful search. So if I press this, I'm going to get 29 results. And if you were to scroll through the results here, you would find all the combinations of my first name, and it really would be a complete record of everything that I have transacted in my history here in Polk County. I also want to share with you that you can use a wildcard when conducting a search using reference numbers. So if I were to search by reference number, I'm just going to pick out Adair County, and I'm going to enter 2023 because their reference numbers often begin with the year. And then I'm going to enter an asterisk or wildcard character at the end. And let's narrow the date range just a little bit. I'm going to enter a custom range that begins with January 2023. and we'll start with January 1. So I've got a there, the reference number beginning 2023, followed by a wildcard, and a custom date range beginning with January 1, 2023. If I run that search, I get 561 different results. That's how many documents essentially have been recorded in Adair County, but not all of them, because there are some records that don't begin with 2023, and I'll show you what that looks like. If you were to search in the same county, but you were looking for things that began with GWH, followed by an asterisk, that is, starts with GWH, and then followed by other characters, you would get a different set of results. And that's because groundwater hazard statements have reference numbers that start with GWH in Adair County. So the short demo illustrates that you can use wildcards in reference number searches, not just name searches. And the same is true for location searches. If we were to search in Adair County, and I wanted to search in section 1, and I'm going to put a date range, same as I did before, starting with January 1, 2023. I'm going to run that search. I got 4 results, and you can see in the details field that each of these start with section 1. Now, there are some counties that may index with a combination of sections, like section 1 and 2, which might be entered in the index as section 1-2. And in those types of cases, you might have some success in using a wildcard character. Again, recommendation is start with whatever you're certain that it includes, and then use the wildcard character after that. We're not going to go so far as to say that use of a wildcard character at the beginning or the middle of a data element will be unsuccessful. It might be, but we have high degree of certainty that if you use the mantra starts with, followed by the wildcard character, you're going to have more success in your searches. So these are just a few tips on how to have successful searches in the new Iowa Land Record Search application. We wish you success and hope you enjoy using this new service. We'll be back with more tips in the near future. Have a great day.